Hello, we're going to talk about Lean and Burn, Chapter 10. We're skipping the main book this week, and this is a very short presentation because now we're just talking about Burn and the years 2 through 5. So we've already implemented Lean for this company, UGH, and we are going through years 2 through 5. We talked about the first year last week. So what we run into through this time span is the problem of tools and out of service tools. So they set up a secondary tool room to inspect each die after every run and make repairs on the spot. So that was a part of their maintenance program. And then visual controls, which we talked about earlier in the term, were established everywhere in the company. And they reduced job classifications from 60 to 6 so that flexibility is built into the value stream structure. So they were successful, and they continued aggressive Kaizen approaches in years 2 through 5. By the end of year 2, they reduced inventory by $55 million, and they increased their earnings by $13 million. It's pretty impressive. They added new products. They generated more cash to purchase a smaller competitor that had sales of $50 million. So they increased their earnings, reduced inventory, took that extra cash, and purchased a smaller competitor. And they added new products and new distribution channels. And they were, and they did the Kaizen practice on the new acquisition, the smaller competitor. And that generated savings as well. They changed their sales terms, which that delivered more value to the customer. So they so for contracts with customers, they were able to take that on. Began delivering to larger distributors weekly using dedicated trucks. And that way, by doing that, they began to be able to get that company to just order what they needed instead of ordering in batches. And so, some of the learning points that we took from this process is that sometimes value doesn't mean giving the customer exactly what they want. Sometimes the company, as you go through Lean, you can kind of visualize what's better, what would work better for the customer than the customer. Because the customer doesn't know all the possibilities that you're going to know as far as delivering the value that they want. Whether it mean, the shipping process, the ordering process, whatever. You might know better than they do, and you can say, look, that's when you want to try different things as part of the Lean process to see what the best fit is. And you will come up with things they wouldn't even have considered. And then, of course, and this is really, I know we keep beating in some of the same things over and over in our lectures, but really it applies to Lean applies to every aspect of work in every department at every company. There's nothing you can't apply these principles to. The people benefits are greater than the financial benefits. The relationships become stronger. You become a company that, especially with your customers, you custom fit what you custom fit to your customer. Basically, you find out, and you decide. And you try different things. You don't treat all customers the same. You figure out what works for this customer better than what works for customer A versus customer B. It's going to be different, probably. And it never stops. It's a work philosophy. It keeps going and going and going and going. So that's really all there is this week, because there's some assignments that are coming up, and I'll have another video for those, but as I usually do. But the lecture is really an analysis of a lean transformation put into practice after that first initial year, and how it keeps going, and the improvements that are made and changes. So just make sure to read the rest of the burn text there, because it talks about, you know, what we just talked about in detail. And I won't read it to you. But that's really all for this week. Just make sure to do your assignments, and let me know if you have any questions. There'll also be supplemental readings in class this week, so that's why this lecture is small, because there will be some sources that I'm going to give you regarding other lean transformations that were actually done in practice. So I want you to have more than one example in your book. And I also probably will include some lean transformations that may not have worked out so great. Usually that's because they didn't follow through. But anyway, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to assist. Let's have a great week.